Hey, brand builders, ready to take your brand to the next level? I'm Dana Ammons, and welcome to the Brand Blueprint.
Welcome back to the Brand Blueprint. I'm your host, Dana Ammons, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by John Gargiulo, who is the co-founder and CEO of ReadySet. Now, John has helped multiple consumer brands accelerate their DTC growth through groundbreaking, and I do mean groundbreaking. We're going to talk a lot about this, but groundbreaking user-generated content ads, and we'll use UGC for short, for those of you not in the know, and AI-powered video strategies. Now, in this episode, we're going to explore how UGC ads are revolutionizing marketing for direct-to-consumer brands, the role of AI in digital marketing, and this is obviously with the goal of without losing human touch, and how founders can leverage those tools for big wins. So, John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dana.
Thank you for joining us. And look, man, I am excited to get into this conversation because, as you know, this is probably one of the hottest topics in startup and entrepreneurship life right now. AI is obviously changing the game. There are a lot of early adopters. There's a lot of noise out there too in terms of what's good, what's not good, et cetera. And so I am excited to bring you on the show to demystify some of that with our audience. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes of the interview, I always like to give the chance for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. So I want to jump into our rapid fire question and answer segment first. Are you ready for that?
I think so.
All right. Well, look, the easy questions start first. So let's get ready to jump into it. So here we go. First question I ask all of my guests, and it's one that I'm always intrigued by, which is your morning routine. So are you a coffee guy or tea or other?
I wake up very early. I have coffee first thing. I've learned this thing that's super dorky, but if it's like a smart plug and it talks to my Google Home next to on our nightstand. So if I my eyes are barely open, my alarm goes off, and I say, okay, there's another one in here, GOOGLE, start coffee. And then it says starting the coffee. And all that means is it turns on the plug downstairs and the coffee makes. So that's the start of my day.
That is a pretty good hack, I would say, of those of us who have, the devices around the house. To your point, we can't say some of the names out loud or it'll actually take the command. Actually is one that I actually feel like is a functional usage, right, of it.
Otherwise, they're mostly glorified kitchen timers still.
Or the music you can't turn off, right? I find that my dad being one of those people, a couple of years ago, we got him an Alexa, and he could never turn the music off. He was always walking around the house going, Alexa, turn it off, and it would never turn off.
You've got to watch this SNL sketch. It's called Amazon Echo Silver. It's Alexa for all. You seen this one for older people? Yep. Oh, it's so funny.
It's so classic. Classic. Okay, now follow up on that question. Given your field of focus and your expertise, I can imagine burning late night hours is not an uncommon thing. Are you a late night person, morning person? When do you like to?
It is an uncommon thing. I'm not a
real good work done.
I'm an early morning person. So like even in college, I had a big test due the next day, or a big essay, and I had 5 more pages to write. I'd go to bed at 8:30, wake up at 5 and just write for 4 hours. So I can't, when the battery's dimming almost out, I can't operate. A lot of people, that's their flow. It's for me when it's bright and new and nobody's up yet for the next 3 hours.
I love it. Now, so shifting gears into some of your expertise, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as we get into the interview. But right now, if you had to pick your favorite user-generated content, website or platform, which would that be?
Well, is this present company excluded? Because I got a company that does just that.
That's not excluded. We want to hear.
Okay, it's not excluded. Then I'm going to pick my own. So I actually rolled out of ReadySet on January 1st, and I still own the agency. My amazing co-founder, Sambu Makalu, runs it. He's the CEO now. Q4 was our best quarter yet. Work with DoorDash, Hims and Hers, many companies to make UGC ads at scale manually in a process we call hyper-production. The new thing I'm working on as of January 1st is called AirPost.ai.
Yeah.
And it's also aimed at companies that are trying to scale their growth engine, but it really starts with AI and leveraging their footage. We have 400,000 pieces of footage that we've shot that we own, and even AI footage like VO3 is out now. And we've really turned a corner just the middle of this year around making UGC footage that looks real, even though it's not, putting a product in people's hands. So AirPost is meant to take advantage of all these new technologies to actually help companies grow by making video ads for TikTok and Facebook.
Wow. Okay, so we're definitely going to jump into that because that is definitely the meat and potatoes of this conversation. I know a lot of my listeners will be really excited and interested to hear. One thing that you, I think, said that I think I want to follow up in our rapid fire question on is video that looks real. Right. And so one of the challenges with AI has been this feeling that, it doesn't really look real. It doesn't sound real, et cetera. I would ask you, as you are, talking to somebody who's never used AI before, not really familiar with it, what are some of the basic pieces of advice you would give to someone who is going out to create their first user-generated piece of content? First time ever. And a lot of people hear that phrase like UGC and it sounds really cool, et cetera, right? But when they first go to do it, I find that a lot of my clients are really, really bad at understanding how to actually get the engines to create the content they're looking for. So talk just a couple of quick, brief pointers on what, you would do or advise somebody to do using a platform like that for the first time.
Yeah, good question. I think if there's one word to take away, it's authenticity. You need that piece of content to be authentic, which has got, an ironic twist in the world of AI, because now we're making video with AI that's by definition not authentic, but it's looking more and more so. And I think just finding the right creators, the right actors, the right people that feel like the right fit for your brand, feel like they would be using your product. And you'll probably have to go through some duds to find a great one. I mean, when I started ReadySet, the agency, we did these shoots where we'd have 10 actors. We called them shared shoots. We would shoot for multiple clients in the same day, 20, 30, 40 whole ads. And I remember the breakdown in my head was, all right, I spent a month finding these 10 actors in LA where all the best actors come. And one of them we almost had to not shoot with. He was so bad. 3 or 4 of them weren't great. And at the top of the scale, one was amazing and had us cracking up. And the other 3 were really great. Maybe less than half of those are even awesome. And they're paid more than a couple $100, which is what most UGC talent. So don't feel like it's on you if it doesn't come out so great. It's hard. Quality is really hard. These are not folks that are necessarily using your product or understand your space. In fact, I would say these gifting platforms, finding people that ideally already use your product and they speak the language and they understand you and what this product is and does and can speak easily to it, is going to be 5x better chance of authenticity than someone like their eyes are going back and forth and they're reading a script.
I appreciate that because I think one of the key points that you made there that I find consistently is a challenge for people who are initially kind of taking that first step into user-generated content is not having their concept fully fleshed out and concise, right? They can't even communicate their concept in a 30-second elevator pitch. And now they're expecting UGC to all of a sudden come up with this great concept and really, do a great job of delivering on their added value proposition without necessarily having good instructions to start. So I think that piece is really, really key. Let me ask you this, and kind of wrapping up the rapid fire segment, as you think about it, you're somebody who's using the technology quite a bit, engaging in it on multiple levels. If you were advising a founder who, and a lot of founders out here are very reluctant to engage in or start using AI, what's the one area you would say, hey, if you're not using AI in any other aspect of your business, of your daily routine, this is the one area I would definitely consider doing it in?
It's not one most people would expect. I would say research and high-level strategic thinking.
I love that.
Go into ChatGPT, hit the little microphone button next to the cell there. Don't type, it takes too long. And my eyes went wide this morning. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I noticed that I recorded myself giving context and asking a question for 5 minutes and 58 seconds. That's long for me. Even 3 minutes is usually the long end for me. But talk to it. Here's my brand. My go-to-market is this. I'm going to run ads on Amazon. They've got this new feature. I don't know whether I should use it. Here's what my product does well and doesn't. Once people try it, they love it. Just blab at it for 2 minutes straight and then ask it, give it all that context. It'll remember now. As of some months ago, it has memory too, so you don't have to do it every time.
Yep.
And then ask it some really meaty questions. I'm thinking that our strategy ought to be to lean into Amazon and blah, 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 blah. But what are some things I may not be thinking about with that strategy? what are some other considerations? What are 3 other strategies that I didn't mention on this call or allude to you think might be interesting? And use deep research. Highlight the deep research button at the bottom. And then it'll ask you clarifying questions, and then it'll give you a monster answer that's 15 pages long. Skim through that, and it's gold.
Yep.
And you can do that today.
Great advice from John. I want the audience to really make sure you tap in and listen to that, because I do find that many people rely on the initial response from the prompt, which, to your point, the prompt's not fully fleshed out. And so by not using that deep research button, and I agree with you. I think I want to rewind back to one other piece of advice John gave, which is broadly applicable across multiple platforms, which is people use voice dictation. Why we are out here still trying to type everything out verbatim when in almost every single field with any tool or app you're using right now, you can voice dictate that content. And I find ChatGPT and AI in general to be one of the best places to do it, because frankly, the engine will decipher what you are trying to say, even if you have bad syntax or bad grammar, you're not the best at putting sentences together and sounding eloquent. It will get what you're trying to communicate. So instead of you trying to type the King's English in a very formal and correct way, just talk to it, right? And I think some people are weirded out by that. Some people feel a little bit, awkward in doing it. But trust me, that skill set will quickly and rapidly advance. I find myself, frankly, talking to ChatGPT and to many of my, I dictate most of my emails now. And I find myself doing it almost in my normal conversations, adding punctuation and so forth, period, and exclamation when I don't necessarily need to do it.
I can't help myself either sometimes,
Right. So I think that is a great skill set. Now, great advice. I want to go on and transition into the core interview because we've got a lot to cover. Are you ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
All right, great. Let's jump in. Now, I am excited to start this conversation, and I want to jump right in. But before I do that, I'd be remiss without at least taking our audience through your founder story and your origin story. You are a founder yourself. You've got a great business model that you are pushing right now, just launched in January. But just back up a little bit and take my audience through your journey to this AI model. Where did you start your career, and how did you end up here?
So I started my career in advertising. I've always been an ad guy. After Colgate University, I went to Miami Ad School to learn how to put a portfolio together, come up with headlines, that kind of thing. Worked in the New York agency world for a while. Came out here to Silicon Valley in 2011. Worked for an Andreessen Horowitz-backed startup that did really well, and then joined Airbnb. Was there for a few years, leading parts of marketing there, working for an amazing CMO, Jonathan Mildenhall. And while at Airbnb, I saw this sort of gulf between like Mad Men brand world and performance marketing world that was developing as Facebook became a thing, right? Pivot tables and numbers, and if we're not making our money back in 30 days, why would we do it? And I think there's value to building a brand, and there's value to performance. And so we built ReadySet, our agency that was really built on vertical video UGC style creative at scale for these new companies that were growing fast, like Upstart and Chime and DoorDash, to just, instead of making 3 things like the Mad Men days and putting them on TV 6 months later and $600,000 later, we make like 13 things a week and be putting them constantly and testing and learning constantly all the time. Then a few years into ReadySet, I realized, these ads are relatively formulaic. If you open up your Instagram feed, it's like 3 reasons why this brand, blah, 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 blah. So there's these certain recipes, and we've got all the raw ingredients in our proverbial walk-in in the kitchen. And if we can build software to be the robo chef and look at those recipes and grab the ingredients from the walk-in and make the dishes, put them out to the floor, see what people say, iterate from there. This is a problem software can solve. So we started getting some patents. We started hiring engineers. ChatGPT hit like crazy. It's been a huge tailwind at our backs for 3 years. And then just in January of this year, we bought the IP out of the agency. An agency business model is just a different thing than a AI software company. And then we put it in a software company, and we're off and running now.
Wow, amazing story. And I love this story because I think there are so many traditional models of entrepreneurship that have been supercharged by AI. But I love what you said there, and the fact that you were already on this journey prior to AI showing up. But then 3 years ago, AI shows up and sounds like it just kicks
Yes.
afterburner in on your overall process.
Well said. That's right. We were thinking of Lego blocks before that. We can use machine learning, we can use software to say, lay down a 3 reasons why script. And then you just take all these blocks of these footages that we have to guess what footage makes sense with which clip. I mean, there were ways to do this before AI, of course, but AI just absolutely supercharged it. And only now, a few years later, and only a few years, we've gone from that clip of Will Smith eating spaghetti that's hilarious to like VO3 that came out recently. That's like, whoa, I just saw the Will Smith eating spaghetti this morning of that. And it's just been incredible help to us.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think the technology is moving so fast, right? That you are both innovating and creating on your own platform, and at the same time trying to keep up with all of the latest advances and changes, et cetera. How are you and your team staying up to speed on and up to date on all of the latest advances? Because I feel like as a guy who advises founders, who uses the technology myself, literally even in ChatGPT, I find myself sometimes pulling down the menu to see the available engines. And I'm like, oh, there's 2 more engines available today. I didn't know. Yeah. Should I use them or not? Like, how do you stay abreast on what to use, what's out there, what's going on?
I mean, it's really hard, but I think that is the thing to do. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, I don't feel up on AI. I don't feel like I know what's going on, what I should be using. You're not alone. That's like 96% of people. And the good news is you're not missing much yet. Most AI mostly doesn't work well enough that you would be excited to use it for a reliable use case with real money, real stakes as of today. 2 years from now, that will be completely different. I think the tipping point will be 2027, if not sooner, but it has not happened yet. So the best you can do is stay up on what's going on. And that's just following the tech news. There's certain like YouTubers I like. Matt Wolf has a good like weekly update where he really does cover anything material that's happened in AI. I would just find your favorite source there. I've even set up ChatGPT has these automated things you can set up pretty easily where once a morning it automatically prompts itself what's been in the AI news this last day.
Warning, the following information is important. You may want to pay attention.
I've even set up ChatGPT has these automated things you can set up pretty easily where once a morning it automatically prompts itself what's been in the AI news this last day. And frankly, I don't read it. I should, but like it comes up with 3 or 5 big headlines and what it means. So that's what I would recommend people do today, and you're not behind.
I love that. And let's talk a little bit about kind of the core portion of UGC content that founders really buy into, and that is UGC ads, right? User-generated content ads that are really used to drive business. Because as you mentioned, a lot of people are experimenting and playing with it, and the Will Smith eating spaghetti, et cetera. I'm not really sure if somebody's making money off of that, right? But is really funny. But let's talk about the actual money-making aspect of it. So talk about how UGC campaigns have reshaped direct-to-consumer marketing playbooks and why they're so effective today.
I think they're so effective, Dana, because people don't want to watch ads. They want to see real people that look like them, and they want to learn. So if I show you a really, shiny ad for this Contigo water bottle that's beautiful, and it's like slow motion shots and the family gathering around and the dad and the mom drinking the Contigo, like your brain is just like, I've seen this literally over 1 million times in various forms. It's glossy, it's 16:9. Then you see something on your phone, and you're on your phone. Nowadays, it's not even social feed. It's mostly just things that the algorithm at Meta or TikTok knows you're into. So you're getting entertained, you're probably learning some stuff. And then all of a sudden, some product, like maybe you've been thinking about a water bottle. We all know with data how creepy it is that like it just knows that you're interested in this Contigo water bottle. And then you just see this rough shot of like hands and a doormat, and a door opens, and you hear this guy mumbling with bad scruffy audio about like, all right, let's see this, if this thing's any good. He opens it. You see the bottle. Oh, okay. Oh, I need a water bottle. Oh, that's how that one comes. Oh, it comes with a pack of 2. I see. Like you're learning all this stuff as he's talking. He's like, most of these things stink. He takes his old water bottle. He bops against the wall. It breaks and it crumbles. Like this thing's been amazing. You're just learning. You don't even remember you're watching an ad. This is just a guy that seems like he's being genuine, authenticity. And you're like, I think I would like to buy that water bottle. That's why UGC works.
I love it. And are you finding that as the technology continues to advance and get better at emulating real human behavior, real gestures, real conversation, are you finding that the ability to create more authentic content is getting easier, or is it actually getting worse? Right? I feel like as the technology's increased, I'm seeing, frankly, less effective content out there. So talk a little bit about kind of the growth of UGC platforms and the ability to create content, and why some of the content still seems to feel so watered down and so not accurate.
I think that you're onto something. 5 years ago, it was more novel, right? Most ads, even on Facebook, if there were videos, they were pretty glossy and addy. And it was like, okay, whatever. Dr. Pepper's putting their promotion for the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
They just did a cut down for social, and you see a little version of it. Fine. That didn't work. Then all these like direct-to-consumer companies got involved, started raising a lot of money, started running a lot of ads. This was before the ATT privacy changes that Facebook had. And so the ads worked really well. You could sell a lot of things for not a lot of money. And UGC was new. So you were doing something novel by being that guy getting that water bottle and unboxing it and all that stuff versus the glossy. Now you're right. It's a commodity. Most ads look like that. You raise your hand on Twitter and say, I've got not even $100 anymore. I've got a free water bottle for whoever wants to spend half a day making an ad. There's a lot of people there on their day off or whatever, sitting around going, you know what? Maybe I'll just do some stuff for Dana and I'll get to have this water bottle. I don't have to pay for it. So that has changed. The other thing I'll note separately is AI slop. We haven't seen a glut of it yet. You're seeing some of it. What I mean by that is like, you're watching something and you're like, this is an AI voice, fine, or it's a real sounding voice, but no, that's AI. And the images are AI. I'll give you an example of one that I like and one that I don't like. Sort of AI slop or like AI at scale that I didn't mind. And this was like a year ago. I was watching YouTube, and for some reason, I was looking for certain kinds of hotels on, like, I don't know, Martinique or St. Martin or something. Mm-hmm. And one of the clips that came up, very SEO'd, I realized 10 minutes later, was top XYZ type of hotels, boutique hotels on St. Martin, good for a romantic getaway or whatever. And I'm watching this video, and it's all video of St. Martin, and the videos are beautiful, and the voiceover sounds real. And this British guy is talking about it, and it says, number one, this hotel, and it shows shots of the hotel. And there may have been some humans in the loop, but really, I'm realizing after 10 minutes, wait a second, this is just a template. This is just, SEO. This is the title. Take the hotels, go to Google, get the images, animate them, or just get videos, go make the thing. So AI stuff's not all bad. Where it's really going to get weird is in a post VO3 world, you're going to see, I think this sounds crazy today, but in 3 years, 95% of everything that is showing on your phone, that is showing on the rectangle of your wall, will be made with AI. And why not? Like summer 2025, you're already seeing these intense, just discussions with audio that look like they're right out of a Netflix crime show. Why would in 3 years Netflix spend millions of dollars to produce a crime show when they could just do it that way? Beautiful lighting, correct. And you don't have to have 100 people and crew and food and get permits. So that's where we're going. And when that world comes and you and I can make a Netflix show, I don't think our shows are going to be as good. I'll speak for myself as, whatever, Steven Spielberg. So that's when the slop really comes. And it's like, whoa, not only does everybody have a camera, which is when, all these videos came out, early YouTube, people made fun of it. It's a bunch of cat videos and random crap. And Google figured out how to surface the good. And maybe the algorithms will, but you see what I'm getting at. We are in for a lot of AI slop and also hopefully a lot of really cool AI content. I think in 5-10 years, Dana, you'll be able to say, my kid's favorite loves these Paddington movies. But we're waiting for Paddington 4. Make a Paddington 4, but it's in my town of Menlo Park, California, and it has to do with a sushi place we go to, and it's actually good. That's coming.
Yeah. I love that distinction, especially the point of AI slop, because I do think you're right in, not that it's just coming, but I'm already starting to see certain channels and certain niches where it's more prominent, right? So one of the areas like you, I do a lot of online research and just kind of, watching kind of some of these platforms develop content. And one of the areas I've seen it readily adopted in is kind of the gossip, blog, celebrity, gossip kind of channels, because I'm seeing videos that get fed into my YouTube algorithm at times. And you can tell, to your point, completely template driven. It's the Diddy, court case, update. Right. It's everything about the narration is AI, from obviously, published articles. The video content is all AI generated, pulling from a lot of these Diddy, articles, et cetera. So you realize, man, I'm watching a short form video, news clip or update that's entirely right AI generated. And in many cases, to your point, I would call it slop because a lot of the content is not new news, right? So it's just regurgitated news, comments or little sensational bits of the trial that you've already heard on, 4 other outlets, just repackaged in this kind of YouTube video. And so,
yeah, I'm totally with you. And then the one also I meant to say that I don't like is, and I just think it's not cool, is there's this storytelling. So it'll be a TikTok or something, and it goes on for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it's like in Metairie, Louisiana, this, coach did this thing and, he got in trouble with this. And then you realize, and I go Google it, it's not a real story. It's just looks like it was a real story. It looks like real people that really happened to. And that's just like uncanny world.
I agree. And I think, so let's talk a little bit about your advice in terms of founders that are working on their own content right now. What are some best practices that they can employ to ensure that they maintain some level of authenticity and emotional connection as they adopt more AI into their practices?
I think trying to feel what feels good to you, authenticity wise. So, for example, maybe you're already doing UGC yourself. You've got a small company, and that's always a great go-to. Like, do the work, right? Pick up your phone, press record. Hey, me and my wife just designed this water bottle. It does this and this. This is why we love it. You find some videos on your phone of you at the park or on a run, whatever. You put in some B-roll. And now let's say you want something about how hydration adds up to, helping certain health elements. And you can prompt AI now, make a chart that goes on for a few seconds, that's 3D and beautiful, that does something about hydration and how it helps you, or a graphic or whatever. And it makes it. That's additive, and it's not sloppy. It's not inauthentic. It's just another ingredient to your stew. You could start there. It's getting to the point where if you ask an AI person to speak to the camera about your water bottle, even hold your water bottle, we are very, very close. By the time this episode comes out, maybe it'll be done, where it does look and feel authentic, Dana. Like you actually look at it and go, this looks like I got some good looking actor or actress to actually talk about my product. Yeah. And what a phrase I've been hearing a lot recently, very recently, that I like is if you get to that point, do you care if it's AI or not? Do you care as the advertiser? Do you care as the viewer? If I'm watching an ad talking about this water bottle and it's informative and authentic seeming good, what maybe I have some philosophical care that it's AI or not. But I feel like I'm sure there are people that like that taxi drivers and Uber drivers can make real money and support their families. And when the creepy Waymo drives up with the wheel spinning around and no one in it, maybe philosophically they're like, kind of would love someone to be making some money, not just a big corporation. And we'll all be in Waymos in 10 years. Like this is the way this works. And all the Uber drivers will be doing something else, making a lot of money, that, not having to sleep in their car and drive for 10 hours straight. So anyways, I think that that's what I would say in terms of where to start inserting stuff, but it's moving really, really fast.
Yeah, it is really fast. And from a timing standpoint, I know you at ReadySet have already kind of crossed that AI-powered video threshold. Talk a little bit about how the AI-generated video specifically is helping generate new opportunities and able to really target consumers for businesses in a way that previously in your former life in, what I would call analog ad campaigns, not as nimble, not as quick in an ability to retarget. Talk a little bit about how AI-powered video ads, and maybe even case example from your time growing and managing ReadySet that you could provide the audience as an example of kind of how that video has powerfully unlocked new growth opportunities.
It's a great question. I think it's a funny time to ask because we're right in the middle of the transition. So if you would humor me, I'll talk about like what analog looks like and then what it looks like a year or two from now.
I love that.
It's just not quite, we're not quite out of analog world yet. The quality is still better there. Analog world looks something like this. Either internally or with my agency, I work on creative video ads and I come up with ideas and I go hire actors or influencer platforms. And 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 8 weeks later, got some ads, go to my media team. I send them the ads. They run them on Facebook. We have a meeting later that month about what's working. Well, this ad has women in it, and they talk about this value prop. Maybe that's what did it. I don't know. Let's meet with the agency. That's the analog world. 2027 world looks more like this. I need to grow. I'm the head of growth of this company. I need video ads. I go to, whether it's AirPost or another platform, I go to a platform. I input who I am, what my brand is, what the value props are. By the way, it can pre-fill value props, problems to be solved. It just knows, oh yeah, Contigo water bottles, we got you. Here's what's up. Oh, well, that's sort of what's up, but actually we're trying to do this, trying to do that. Fine print, disclaimers, all that, right? It's like a brief. And it goes, give us a minute. I mean, a minute. And then populates your screen with all these tiles of all these video ads. And just like if you're looking at stock images of people doing yoga, you're going to look at most of them and go, no. Oh, that one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Yes. And then they're going to run. They're just going to run by themselves on Meta, on Amazon, on TikTok. And within minutes, Dana, real time, they're going to auto-optimize themselves. Oh, you're cool with these types of things, but as long as it has this type of disclaimer. And you're not talking about 3 ads in 8 weeks. You're talking about 300 ads in 8 hours.
What did he just say?
And then they're going to run. They're just going to run by themselves on Meta, on Amazon, on TikTok. And within minutes, Dana, real time, they're going to auto-optimize themselves. Oh, you're cool with these types of things, but as long as it has this type of disclaimer. And you're not talking about 3 ads in 8 weeks. You're talking about 300 ads in 8 hours. And it's just going to be such a higher level of efficiency for you and me. No more jokes will happen about like, yeah, why am I seeing ads for this, Barca Lounger, whatever thing for old people? Like, I'm definitely not buying one of those for a long time. That targeting miss will go away because there'll be so many more ads, so more hyper efficiently zeroing in. They say creative is the new targeting in this algorithmic meta world where meta is just a big black box, even though they don't know how it works. But if suddenly a lot of people in their 40s are clicking on Barca Loungers, they'll start sending those people ads, but like it knows better than anybody else. But the whole thing is AI. In fact, I'll end on this. Zuckerberg said recently-ish, in the future, you're just going to tell Meta, let's see how much people want to trust Meta. Here's my business. I would like to make money, please. Go. And it will come up with the creatives themselves. It will place the media. You just give it money and it gives you a little more money back. And you don't even know how much it's taking in the middle.
Yeah.
And a lot of people poo-poo that and says, oh, and they don't want to give Zuckerberg their money or trust or, well, what's happening? I can promise you, I'll speak for myself again. If myself or any of the big companies I know knew that there was an actual money machine called Meta, that if they put $1,000 in, they got $1,100 back, they're not going to care about those things. They're just going to do it.
Correct. And it's such a great point, right? Like if the end goal is to increase sales, is to drive profitability, you're not going to get caught up in the minutia of what exactly they put in the ad or what the voice actors say that really drove click-through, right, and adoption. But I think one good point that I would love you to comment on for our audience is, because, man, that world is just so tantalizing, right? That your ads would consistently and constantly retarget until it gets to the right place. So in that eventual future, what would you advise founders then to focus on in terms of skill sets they need to inherently pick up in order to better manage it? Because I would tell you, both of us are old school, John. We come from this world where there's like 4 or 5 books that we know you need to read, right?
Right.
There's if you're so inclined to have the time, you go get your MBA, then you tighten up there, and then you spend several years getting your own processes and your own skill sets down until you become that dude or that lady in the ad space, marketing world. Now with the platforms doing all of this work for you, what should the founder be focused on being a really expert at?
I mean, I think the founders should be, and back to what we were saying earlier, they should be up on what AI is capable of at all times. Mm-hmm. I was watching a leader in the tech world out here recently saying, look, from 2009 to 2023, and he was talking about SaaS businesses, but it's applicable everywhere. Most software was pretty slow moving. Oh, all right, our company's starting to do well. We should add SOC 2 compliance or permissioning or multi-user sign-in. His message to this huge convention was, that has changed. We're at warp speed now. Will Smith's eating spaghetti in a little bit of a nicer way now. A year from now, it might be Will Smith, hologram next year. I have no idea, voice mode talking to. So it's so hard to keep up that just the keeping up in itself is what I'm
Is the
advise
job.
founders.
Wow. That was a really important point. Can we hear that again?
It's so hard to keep up that just the keeping up in itself is what I'm
Is the
advise
job.
founders.
Yeah,
That's the job.
I love that. Now, in the spirit of also keeping up, tell me a little bit more about some of the metrics and the KPIs that you use specifically to track success of these ads, especially given the fact that people are putting real dollars and looking for real ROI. So what are some of the key, KPIs and metrics that you track?
So it's really, I try to always keep those things really simple. And the two I would say right now are, one, are these ads that this platform AirPost is making acceptable to the client? So client comes in, they see that wall of that gallery of ads. Are they going, ew, this is a bad idea. We don't want to work with you. Are they going, oh yeah, I could see that working. We just had a meeting with a huge company last week, and I was very pleased to hear their media team groups that I had never met with directly came back to our point of contact and said, we want to test these ads. So that's good. That's bar number one. Bar number two is, are the ads performing? Are they getting my cost of acquisition down? Are they fitting that first principle of marketing that when I go put money into this thing, I get more money back or not? I'd like to think that getting to the same level of quality on the performance side, the same level of performance as the manual solutions today that sometimes cost $500,000 a month for an agency that's making you stuff, is a game changer right there. But the real win would be the going from scarcity to abundance, going from, we charge you $500,000 a month, we make you 8 ads a month, to we make you 80 ads a night and we charge half that. And you're doing better because in a world of abundance of ads, there's so much more you can do and optimize and learn so much more quickly. That's the world we want to enable.
I love that. And then as a follow-up question to that, what's your advice to founders who are debating / strategically trying to decide between paid ads and the amount of money that they have or are willing to put towards paid ads, and this concept, which I think is a bit overwrought, of organic ads and advertising, right? Because I get a lot of founders that come in and says, hey, I'm all over my organic. I haven't really turned on paid, but I'm doing organic. Like, talk a little bit about that as it relates to user-generated content and AI.
It's a good question. I guess the question I would ask them is, are people watching your organic stuff, right? And I get that you have to keep at it for several months before it might get picked up, but have you had a TikTok get more than 400 views or 4,000 views? And if the answer is no, you may be spending a lot of cycles and a lot of your valuable time, even as a founder, like your time, what's your hourly rate? Go calculate that. How much are you investing in that, right? You are worth something. And then on the paid side, it's hard because a lot of people will play around with paid. They'll spend $500, $5,000 out of their own wallet and not see really any results, and then freak out and say, paid doesn't work for me. Well, maybe. I think maybe it would with the different circumstances. I think one thing AI can enable is really help those folks that have smaller companies try new things without spending a lot of money. I met this woman who has a D2C chocolate brand. She's 8 employees. It's just her running the place. She's got this bakery in LA, and she's like, I just paid this influencer platform $15,000 for 3 months, $5K a month. And I got a bunch of videos and I ran them and they didn't work. And she was really frustrated because it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault, but she's like, I'm out $15,000. AirPost is more for larger-ish companies, but I would say there's going to be solutions there are already that you can go to and say, use AI to make me the footage, use AI to make these ads, and test them. And then all your money is just on the media side, which is a lot more palatable for people.
I love that. And I love that advice around understanding, right, that it may not be anybody's fault per se, but that is truly the cost of testing and learning, especially in the traditional media prism, right? Like, there are realities where you may spend $5,000 a month on a campaign and not exactly get the results you're looking for. I think one of the keys that I tell my founders all the time to do is make sure you understand what success looks like before you put the money down, right? Because you may have your perspective on what you think success looks like versus what the provider is telling you success looks like. And sometimes I think founders don't always listen. They only hear what they want to kind of hear. And so their success, measure is more money, right? More sales. And that wasn't necessarily what the vendor or the provider was touting as the actual results, right? They were driving awareness, impressions, et cetera. And so impressions, I tell people all the time, don't translate to dollars. So don't let somebody tell you, oh, I got you 15,000 impressions. Well, you can't take impressions to the bank, right? So
right.
You better figure out what that translates to in terms of your business. And if that is an objective you want to pursue, right?
And that's one cool thing paid social can do is, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I was going to say it can really help in one app, because there's a lot of stuff out there that display-ish stuff where I'm getting all these impressions, but I'm not making any money. And awareness is not bad. It's good. And I think if you have an ad, and I've never heard of Contigo and I've never seen that water bottle, and all of a sudden I see it, I hear of it, I'm aware of it, I'm educated on it. It's the consideration middle part of the funnel. And then there's a call to action. It's 60% off if I get it for Black Friday today. That's probably more lucrative for more people.
Yeah. So given that, for founders that are just eager to get started, they've listened to this interview, they're excited now, they want to run out and even, make things happen with one of your platforms. What's one concrete step that you would tell or advise founders to take today to make that next step to gaining traction with UGC content?
First of all, if you're that person, you're ahead of most of your competitors. Go around the country, most people mostly aren't on this tip that we're on right here, talking about AI and at this level. So kudos to you for feeling that way. What I would recommend to them is the learning and keeping up, and however you do that we talked about. And I would just Google or ask ChatGPT, here's my product, here's my problem, here's what I want to do. I care about Amazon, I care about programmatic, I care about Facebook ads, whatever it is, TikTok organic. I just saw this podcast with Dana, and I heard there's some tools out there for my specific problem. That's why context is so helpful, and that's why this is so much better than Google. What are 3 companies you would recommend I go check out that are gonna cost me less than $200 to try, that I could just at least go learn what's what out there, and it will give you an answer. I don't have a ready-made answer, and I really do think whether you're selling, B2B shipping insurance, or you're selling water bottles, or you're selling, black dresses, it just really matters the context. But I would just ask ChatGPT, what are some tools out there where I can use AI footage today to make things? And if you want to see the bleeding edge of the footage creation specifically, I would, for right now, and by the time this airs, might be usurped by Runway or OpenAI, I would look into VO3. You have to pay $130 to try it out. But I would just go search VO3 and go make some footage, and you will be blown away. It's really a turning point in my lifetime where we've gone from I see how this is trying to be video that was made with AI, to, oh my gosh, this looks absolutely no different, with exceptions and trial and error, than that Netflix show I just saw. They met at the headquarters, and the lighting was perfect and all that. Or UGC.
Definitely provide all of these recommendations and the links after the show, but I also want to give you an opportunity to share more information about both of your platforms, because I do think both are relevant.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about AirPost and ReadySet is they're mostly for larger companies. So if you've got a company that's spending $50,000 or more a month on these paid platforms, absolutely we can help you at AirPost. I mean, that's what it's built for. It's literally built to help transition companies that are looking at this conversation going, I need to be doing that, I don't know where to start. We'll be your shepherd. So AirPost, check us out. I'm just John at AirPost.ai. And then ReadySet's more if you're a big company and you want an agency, but you don't want to hire some old school dusty thing, and you want to hire someone that gets AI, they understand sort of how to help you scale. We've scaled DoorDash and other companies successfully, but you're looking more for that agency model, those people to work with collaboratively, not so much software. That's ReadySet.co.
I love that. Both options. Make sure for the audience, this will be available in our show notes as well as on our website. We will have AirPost and ReadySet links there for you to reach out to both operations. And you heard John's description, so make sure you understand that distinction. Definitely for many of you who are currently using agencies that you may not be actually satisfied with or happy with the results you're getting out of them, I would definitely check out ReadySet. And for my larger clients who are really spending major dollars on monthly UGC content, you need to go and check AirPost out as well. not just talk about it or think about it, actually be about it. And John will actually help you get that started. And so, John, I can't, tell you how much, man, I appreciate you coming on today. Limited time with you, but I know our audience is like, Dana, don't cut it yet. We got a couple of more questions to ask. So I am going to tell our audience, feel free to reach out to John on LinkedIn. We'll also have his links available after the show as well and in the show notes of this episode. So just scroll down and click on that information to link directly with John. But John, I would be remiss before I left the episode and closed out to let you, leave our audience with one bit of advice regarding their AI user-generated content plans moving forward.
I learned earlier in my career, you got to say things 3 times. You can't expect people to get something 1 time. I'm certainly that way. So I will just reiterate, if you feel like you're not up enough on AI to help your business, probably you're already ahead of most people. If you're listening to this, if you've gotten to this end of this podcast, you are ahead of most people. Don't feel behind. Don't feel you're missing out. Most AI mostly does not solve the problem reliably enough to really pay money for it, but we're just about to tip over that tipping point. So you're doing the right thing by keeping up on what's happening and continue to do that.
I love it. Perfect. We will definitely be including this information in the show notes. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, John. I can't tell you how much I get communication, messages, et cetera, on, hey, more AI content. Can we have more information about the fast changing world of AI? Oh, and one other thing before I did leave off, I wanted to ask you quickly, are there any publications, any particular podcast or platforms that you specifically use to keep up to date on some of the trends and changing things?
There's a newsletter called Ben's Bites. He was more active like when ChatGPT first came out. It was like, oh, look at these 10 new AI companies every day. Now there's just so many thousands of them. But he's pretty sharp. That's a newsletter. And then I like Matt Wolf on YouTube. Ben's Bites. He's a former like Zapier product manager. And now he's like a VC because he's just so into this AI stuff. Wow. But then the other one is Matt Wolf, WOLFE. I watched a lot of his YouTube clips. He just has a weekly one.
I have to.
That's like,
shout out to Matt Wolf. Definitely. For those of you who haven't found him on YouTube, I use him a lot as well. Really good content, really concise, easy to understand. So I would definitely check him out. All right, guys, I really appreciate you joining us for this fantastic episode today. We are excited to get this out to our listeners and viewers. And so share this with somebody who you know is struggling with AI user-generated content or just has some questions and wants to learn more. John, being our resident expert, has really done a fantastic job today of breaking that information down and demystifying the steps you need to take to start your UGC journey. So with that, I again say thank you for tuning into the Brand Blueprint podcast. As always, we are here for you to help demystify the steps it takes to take a brand from concept to commercialization. So until the next time, keep building smarter brands and check us out on the Brand Blueprint. Thanks again and have a great one.
Thanks for joining us on the Brand Blueprint journey. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay updated. Watch the full episodes on our YouTube channel for an in-depth experience. Don't forget to subscribe to our website at thebrandblueprint.biz for exclusive content and materials. We're everywhere you need us to be.